the draft
Vitality
here.
versus Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like they're not changing up the drafts. And I guess you don't have to. Right after this ban out the Fanny and then ban out the Atlas and then like said, oh no, this time they ban out the Selena.
And so wait, Falcons takes red side.
Yep.
And
They chose
Vitality
that.
still decides to switch up the draft, which I find interesting. Falcons won last game. They switch up the ban. They ban out the Valentina this time. Vitality wins last game, and they're going to switch up their bans. Instead of trying to run the same exact thing, each team consistently knowing the next game has to be different.
I mean, like, here's the thing. That Selena really ruins their early game because if you guys remember in game number 2, Iman on that Paquito tried to help with the Little Wanderer, and then they got it, but then Iman died. So I feel like they're looking at it as, you know what, Selena's doing too much. Even when they're losing, she's doing too much.
And I'm trying to see where this translates into something opening up. I mean, it could be the Belleric opening up earlier for the side of Team Falcons.
Or the Atlas.
It could be the Atlas as well, because they're giving something up. They've been taking away both of those.
The Fanny as well as the Atlas. So now they banned the Atlas. I don't know whether they themselves want the Fanny or they don't want to give the Fanny over to Falcons.
I think if the Harara's open, then they know that at least they can still take their Barats. The Selena's no longer there, and they have some tradability in the long haul of things. Vitality is the one that's here on the gun, having to make a big decision. Last game, they banned out the Valentina. This time, they have to think about it.
Does the Esmeralda indicate that they want to go back to Shogun having a good lane?
Oh, yeah.
XB with Barats?
100%. Like, this is a draft where you know that Shogun brought the coach out to dinner, and the coach really liked that dinner. It's like, you know what? You're always going to be first pick.
Yeah, he paid for dinner.
They banned out the Melissa. Now, that's interesting. They're opening up quite a lot here, right? The Valentina's there, Hirara, the Lings, the Fannies. Zushin as well. I don't know about this one. I feel like Barats first pick is still fine.
Yeah, honestly, I think they still go Barats.
It's like when you know you're visiting for a night, you don't need to worry about being comfortable. You can wear anything. You only have one night you're driving home. When you're staying for a week, now you got to bring your pajamas, got to feel comfortable. I think in these longer sets, you see players revert back to like, what has worked for me? What is comfortable? We've got 2 games on it. Let's figure out a third. Not changing something's a big deal.
So you just go to Jushin, Belleric here, I think.
Yeah, that's a great plan.
Belly Boy and Jushin.
Sounds good. And then later on, you'll see whether out of all the assassins that's still open, which one do you want? You want the Harara, the Ling, or the Fanny? Because I feel like, judging by game 2, I think Falcons should be really hesitant to pick up that Fanny because there's so much fighters. And
Falcons doesn't want the Fanny, then they might have to lock in the Harara here, right? That might be just Harara, Belleric.
I would go with that. That sounds very solid.
They still have the Ling as an option. If they we haven't seen it, but that could mean that if they're risking never mind, they want the Fanny.
They're risking it this one.
They want it.
I mean, like,
it's because they don't want Vitality to have it.
I think so too, because now it's pretty disgusting on that Fanny. So now they have 2 ways to deal with this. Either go Moskov in gold or go for that Paquito again, just so that you know that Fanny does not have a good target to actually slice in.
Paquito and Moskov right now.
So Paquito, jungle, Moskov, gold. I mean, like, I'm not against it. It's just very, very honest.
Yeah, and you show a lot in these first 3. Bans come up after that.
They could go Zushin. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I think Zushin could be good too. I think your team going Zushin is nice.
And the Moskov.
Or Paquito. Depends on which route you want to go for, right? Because I feel like if you don't secure either or, 100% they're going to get banned. So they pick up the Paquito as well as the Eudora. So that's why picking out the Fanny can be a risk. Basically, all 3 can counter the Fanny here.
So that's interesting.
Was it a big brain bait?
I think
by switching into the Selena, leaving the Fanny open, taking the Barats again first. Do we think this was just like they're going to go Fanny to steal it from us, and then we instant counter it?
Honestly, I feel like it was a gamble. They're like, guys, there's a chance they will pick it up. If they don't, then we got to figure something else out. But the moment they pick up the Fanny, they're like, all right, we got him.
Well, listen, if this is Paquito Gold, if it is going to mix over, then he has an opportunity to pick his matchup that he wants. And Harith is still open, which we haven't seen open for him yet, and he's enjoyed. They're going to wait till that because they're not sure, again, that is Paquito Gold.
So I feel like for Vitality, to make it easier for themselves, I think they need to ban out something like the Ruby, because I think right now Falcons, they're considering playing double fighters. That's why they're picking up the Lapu so that he's flexible. Worst comes to worst, you can put Lapu in gold. Not the best place for you to put him, but it's an option.
Yeah.
Ruby would be a nice answer to the Bakito and the Barats, those bulky frontliners, something that can just kind of stop them in their tracks and stop the big engage that Vitality wants to bring. Coming into the ban list, Falcon takes out the Harley.
I mean, you could do essentially, for those watching a new to MLBB, right, you have that traditional marksman normally in gold. You have the big fighter in EXP. We're seeing the experimentation there with some of these teams either putting a fighter in gold, sometimes flexing them into the jungle as well, but mostly either in gold and in EXP. So you have two different styles, but aggressive, CC, team fight focused characters. Is it possible that Falcons go and say, well, let's just match that? I mean, let's just do that ourselves.
Because right now, based on the bans here, Falcons banning out that Harley, I think they're opening up just in case they want to go for marksman. So I think the marksman is going to be red 5. They're going to see the entire draft, and then they're going to decide. And then for Vitality, they're banning out the Eve. If they ban out something like the Zushin, it basically shows that they want to gank mid for quite a few times. They just don't want these tanky mid laners to be there, lowering the chance of them actually getting a kill.
Yeah, they need to make sure, well, they got to make sure that Eudora also has a lot of freedom, and something with that much range, taking out the Eve. Selena's already gone. They've noticed that, I think, control in these fights is something that Falcon really thrives off, especially in game 1 when they had a similar draft, X-Nay on the Fanny.
Yeah.
Ruby has to be banned though. They banned out the Lilia here. Very interesting. Okay. The Ling is still open. Not so sure if this is going to be a game that's going to be good for the Ling. I mean, again, because of this Bakito so flex, we've seen him in the jungle and the gold. It really can go either ways here. But I feel like they should pick up a mid so that they can make the last decision whether they want fighter gold or marksman gold.
That makes sense. Open up in mid. I mean, we've seen a lot of different choices. A lot of them banned out here.
Maybe even Valentina wouldn't be that bad. It's just that whatever ult you're going to take, except for the Eudora, you're kind of putting yourself in a very tough spot either ways.
Very dangerous.
Vexana's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Good.
We saw Aurora one game. I mean, something
was a decent answer to something that Vitality has right now, honestly. Yeah. That's what a lot of teams have used it for, so it could definitely be a possibility.
Farsa. Okay.
There's a lot of bursts here coming in from Falcon, so whoever gets caught, the Farsa can burst out for the first 6 minutes. So I think Falcons, they just want to win the early here. But this draft kind of shows that they might have something like a Claude later on.
As their last pick?
Claude or Moskov, yeah.
Both been played. Claude at a 2-win, 1 loss for Falcons. Moskov 1 win, 0 losses. So both good choices for Super Marco in this tournament so far.
Because I feel like the Brody would be stylistic for what they have right now, but there's a chance they're going out against the Pakito in the gold lane. Brody won't have a good time. So I feel like, but I'm worried if that's too much scaling though. Too much scaling in this current meta is pretty bad. Actually, no, I don't think that there's too much scaling. So they pick up the Claude as well as the Kufra here, trying to fight against the Fanny. They're really just trying to counter Fanny here. Everyone except for the Claude.
Yeah, I mean, in the Kufra, don't get me wrong, it works against the Fanny, but it is still a high-risk roam. Yeah, there's a lot of roams that they could have gone for. Moskov also would have been great. I guess it's a little less escapability. The Claude can help against this Farsa. Has the BMI, has a little bit more movement in terms of team fights, and can maybe get away from the Lapu a little bit better.
If you want to go double fighters, it's still the Ruby, but I feel like you don't have to. I feel like a Harif or a Moskov should be good here. They pick up the carry, so they just want to make sure that when the Barats exposes himself, they have an answer. So quite balanced here, getting a lot of bursts coming in from the Farsa as well as Fanny, and then having that shred from the carry. I'm liking Falcon's draft here because for Vitality, it kind of depends on both the Barats as well as the Kufra.
And the Jungle Paquito was something they lost in game number 1. Can they pull through this time in game number 3 and get a win off of it? Falcons taking it back with a few picks. The Farsa, the Fanny. Excited to see how it goes.
Well, Team Vitality and Shogun been feeling pretty comfortable with that Barats on the stage the 3rd time around. Will he get kicked out and need to find a new place to stay? We'll find out as we send it back over to Gideon and Brigitte for game 3.
Game 3 begins, and already we are anticipating who is going to bring it to the next level here. Who's going to take another point over the others? The score is 1-1 as we jump on in to the land of Dawn. And Brig, I don't know, these compositions, they're like Digimon. They just keep evolving. You don't know when it stops. You don't know when they have figured out what is the end goal.
Yeah, if there's one thing that evolved, we're no longer on all flickers. We at least see 2 Purifies on Team Falcon's side. And understandably so, you're seeing an overwhelming amount of crowd control over on Vitality, which I feel if they don't get to use in the proper sequence would be very punishing for their team fights in the latter portions of this game.
Yeah, really interesting. A quick look at the emblems, and immediately we're already seeing Pull Yourself Together from Haji on a Purify in comparison to a Wilderness Blessing coming in from Moreno. So Moreno wants to move around this map a lot quicker with Finn, thanks to that Concussive Blast, but the Brave Smite here, pretty important for Ogun to keep himself alive. As we see the first couple of interactions, it's just about control. It's about how much we can control this lane and minimize the rotations.
Yeah, Finn and Moreno are required to really work together, I feel, especially because the nature of a Kufra, which I feel like is the reason why we don't really get to see him recently, is also because of the fact that once you go in, there's barely any way for you to disengage, and it's pretty much like you have to at least get a guaranteed stun or set for you to make sure that you get to maximize this hero to its fullest potential, because if not, it will be very easy for Falcons, considering their lineup too, to just go in for the punish. And that's a quick rotation you're seeing from Haji. Okay.
Potential engagement from Finn as well. I don't think they want to do this right now, right? Nobody's level 4 at the right time, and more importantly, as much as they want this EXP crap, which Shogun gets, no problem, but I don't see Falcons finding First Blood just yet. Not until we see Ilhaji hit level. Oh my goodness, Moreno's so close. Oh, he walks out just at the very edge. Gets caught.
Yeah, I probably thought there was a bit more grass. But okay, slap. Oh, it's not even the Tyrant's Revenge that catches him first. It's just gonna be a Detona's Welcome from Shogun.
Ah, Shogun's really good with the Detona's Welcome. It's actually kind of crazy, but here comes Haji.
Okay, Finn, he's gonna show himself. They have enough idea of where Vitality are currently positioned. Kyle's still gonna go window. There is no Ball of Lightning anymore from Moreno to land the stun, but Finn is still gonna be there. They're trying to focus on Haji this time, and Nile will just really secure the objective. Hold on. Flap goes in. They still want to fight, but Vitality don't.
I'm surprised that they didn't even want to like let the Feathered Airstrike rip or like try to force out. They knew that, okay, Shogun should be okay here, I would assume. He's max stacked out. There's no chance that Kyle's going to be able to cut him down just yet. Not without a little bit of help here. But on the opposite end, I was really expecting like Haji to try and make something happen, force somebody to flicker, force them to flicker forward or anything, because losing their battle spells on the side of Vitality is a lot more punishing compared to the Falcons.
Yeah, so the one's on all flicker, but they dealt with that first objective really, really well. I mean, that immediate transition from just taking out Flap, which I feel also shouldn't have been the case, but I guess it was just a bit too unexpected for Vitality to just jump on him at the same time too. So you don't really get to see Falcons at least in a position where they'll be confident enough to contest. The gold lane is definitely something that we don't really put into consideration as much now, just because the focus is just really heavily towards the mid. It's because of these mid trios that we're seeing a lot of things happen, or supposedly happen, by far.
Yeah, and also the scary thing is that Super Marco also decided to take a Purify, right? So taking these like heavy hate trades against Iman, there's always that risk of at any point of time somebody could come for this gank. And he doesn't mind the 2v1 scenario because of that Purify, but as soon as he loses it, he suddenly becomes this vulnerable target that even Nile can take it out without much effort. So it's about maintaining control, right? And you can see that both sides, oh my goodness, another Detona's Welcome set up for Shogun and Nile.
It's not a good start for Flap, at least, and I don't think Vitality are paying too much attention towards Super Marco 2. They acknowledge the fact that yes, this is a carry on Purify, but I think they're just really trying to double down on shutting down the EXP laner for Falcons, which I think would allow for so much more openings and entries here for Falcons. But considering that he hasn't been able to farm up, Falcons are just not confident enough to fight against Vitality, especially in these objectives, which Flap will still decide to show up for, but it's a 2-level gap you're looking at between him and Shogun.
Yeah, this should be a no contest unless they're able to get like a big fat all coming in from Owen. I mean, he's thinking about it, right? He sees all of the members there. This might be the angle to try.
Whoa, that was just a flicker set up onto Owen, and they immediately burst him down! The Detona's Welcome! Catching Kyle! But he still gets to secure the retribution nonetheless. This is Falcons clapping back. A cutthroat 2 Falcons are able to turn that around.
That's so sad. He was a pixel off the wall, but at least the Falcons will be able to try and convert this to something even more. They get mid-tier 1. Let's look at this replay one more time, because again, great engagement, right? But the Deton is welcome. As you see just here, he eats him mid-air, flickers backwards, and misses the wall. Puts him right on top of the turtle. He thought it was gonna connect. Honestly, really well played from both sides here, but big ups. And Ogwin knows, it's like, hell yeah, they messed up. And that's great, because now this is going to drag out a little bit further. And with a 1.5k lead, Haji is starting to come into a position where he can legitimately start threatening the members of Vitality. Moreno in particular. He might, if he can force Moreno to flicker early on, this mid-game might be where Falcons really shine.
Yeah, because Moreno, I think, has been very difficult to catch as well on the Eudora, but that pretty much put Falcons back in the game. That's already a lead over to their side. Oh, okay, Finn is gonna spot them here. Eman should already know that there's a potential gank.
Are they willing to trade top tier 1 for this? They're probably gonna send Kyle up to the top side, right? As soon as they show, the wave gets cleared up here. Yep, he makes his way over to the top side. They already know that Shogun is communicated. Nile ready to punch.
Oh, that was a lot of damage from Nile. And that was just Nile.
I definitely think that could have been a kill angle there, but I think even now recognize there's not a lot of people here. I'm not 100% sure whether they moved away from that conceal afterwards, but more importantly, he's got to make sure that he gets the angle right. If he accidentally pushes Kyle too far in certain areas, Kyle, he's good with these cables. He can start zipping around. He's got to lock him down right against the wall.
Okay, at least they somewhat equalize things, and the farming is looking still pretty great, especially for Super Marco. But this is where we see how Vitality are able to bounce back. They're not able to, or they're not allowed to make any mistakes similar to what happened earlier. It's been a really good run for Shogun on the Barretts here, but that could have been the turning point if they don't find their way back in this game. Finn is looking for a really good setup here, but they have no idea where Flap is.
Oh, it's a bit of a dangerous gamble here. Not to mention that they've already got like a slow pushing side up top as well. That's going to start turning into the opposing favor. Oh no, the Deton's welcome did not connect. Now Falcons have an opportunity here.
Okay. Shogun really has reset here in this game. That's another Daytona's welcome not connecting onto anyone. Falcons are fully aware of the fact that they no longer have that setup potential. But Kyle is nowhere near this objective as of now.
Can't afford to show himself. Iman spots it, but Kufra is nearby. Look at Finn. He's going for the... And he's anticipating it.
Oh, he's waiting for it.
It's
and
good.
He catches Kyle. Blazing duet from Eman, and the bouncing ball prevents him from actually getting to cable out of there.
Great call. Great call. Made sure to use everything to ensure that Iman was able to get this kill, and also the bouncing ball to keep him in place rather than letting him move around. The order of these skills matters so much, and now Vitality, they need to take advantage of the scenario.
Okay, that's a Daytona's welcome with a Cyclone Eye. Slight reposition with the damage from Nile. It's a bit too much. Haji using the feathered airstrike. Finn tries to tank the damage, but it's an outplay. Nile, it's a turnaround. Falcons actually take him down. And Super Marco is able to find one more.
Beautiful play coming in from Haji as well. Feathered airstrike, Purify as well to ensure that he makes it work. However, the cooldowns are down. And Flap, he's not going to be able to get his ult back up in time, I think. He's got about like 13 seconds until it comes back up, but there's just too many members dead on the side of Vitality. This is no contest, and Falcons take this lead back. Despite the game going for at least 9 minutes, it's surprising to see only one turret from the side of Vitality has been taken. Falcons are able to get 2 turrets of their own, but this is where we see a 3.5k lead turn into a 5 to 6k lead.
Vitality should be very particular with where they decide to choose the fight, or if they even want to proceed with the fight if they find themselves in positions that aren't really as favorable for them. Because I believe earlier, especially with that Cyclone Eye, putting Shogun in a slightly deeper position towards Falcon's area made it a bit more difficult for Vitality to actually follow through. And so with that, it was another clear punish from Falcons, and it's a huge win for them because gold lead, map control, everything's just now all over to their side with just that single play.
And that's exactly what they want for it. These are the big momentum shifts that you expect to see in a game of this high level. Oh my goodness, okay. Some big spells being thrown on, and Super Marco just lost his flicker, walking up too close and getting hit by that ball lightning on top of the superconductor, allowing it to go become a bit of an AoE in small areas. Moreno, he's looking for that big one-shot, and I'm worried for it, right? If Super Marco makes a mistake and walks up too far, even though you do apply yourself with the Purify and take away the superconductor, if Moreno just 1-2s into the ult, I think there's a pretty high chance of you just exploding out of nowhere.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just really Vitality forced to maybe find a different combo. It could be maybe Finn and Niall. There's a lot of damage you could expect, but Finn decides to go in instead, and together with Eman, they blast Super Marco! The perfect pickoff and start to this team fight, only if Niall makes it out alive, but he doesn't. Flap actually goes for the chase. 4-man Landshaker to land it towards Team Vitality, but the re-engage, they still want to fight! The Daytona's welcome! And it's Kyle, they catch a successful land on the wall this time, but he still finds the wall spam!
Holy cow, he nearly killed 2 people there. Haji, if he just had a little bit more damage, I think they would have been able to secure it, but oh my god, that should be the Trinity complete for Iman at this point of time. He was building up to it, didn't find it, and then eventually got it, but you gotta give it up for Shogun here. A great engagement coming in from Finn. They outplay it with the help of Iman, but right at this very moment where you're expecting the cleanup, you're expecting Haji to be able to hit that fat stun after the Landshaker. The charge, the instant detonator's welcome. What a reaction from Shogun.
And this time it landed, but with that very brief amount of time that Kyle got, crazy to think that he was nearly able to outplay at least 2 members of Vitality, as you mentioned. You do want to put him close to the wall, but that's also something he wants. So at the same time, you maybe should position yourselves away from it. It maybe should only be Shogun near the wall if ever you do try to go for that exact same setup later on.
Hey, that's the truth of it all, right? Sometimes you just get overly eager and forget how big some of these abilities actually are, but Haji is now starting to become a legitimate problem, right? Iman, he's got to be careful. Every time he uses that BMI, which is why what he's doing every single time he drops it down, he walks up forward, hopes to get a reaction, and then takes the BMI away, begging for Falcons to say, hey, one of you have to make a move first.
Eman will get his flicker in 10 seconds, though. They will be ready to take on this fight. Same for Moreno.
Oh, Finn.
Kyle already flies in, though. Finn charging! Kyle secures the objective nonetheless, though, and Niall gets bursted down by Super Marco. Shogun looking like the next target. The Dona's welcome out. Finn trying to run away. Emma blazing, do it just to make it to safety, but he fails. Vitality are just scrambling to get back to their base. Falcons are dealing a bit too much damage.
It's a little too much to handle here. Big mistake coming in from Finn. Unfortunately, tries to go behind the pit to intercept, but ends up hitting nothing. He's still holding on to his ult, and so far, they need a defense. They're going to pull it first. Pull it down to the bottom side.
It's just Finn and Shogun, but they're just being torn down to pieces by Super Marco on the carry. Moreno gets jumped on by Flap. 3-man stun, but Falcons are in the